In the quiet town of Oak Ridge, Mark, an ordinary farmer tending to his fields, witnessed a sight that defied all logic. Amongst his grazing horses, a creature stood unlike anything he had ever seen emerged. A magnificent horse with antlers that seemed to reach for the sky. As he approached cautiously, he realized it wasn't a mere horse. It had massive antlers towering above its majestic head. Mark's bewilderment turned to sheer terror when he discovered the truth about this bizarre creature. But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe and ring the notifications bell so you never miss our upcoming story. Mark could first not believe what he was seeing. He was rubbing his eyes until they hurt, but the strange sight did not go away. Even without the antlers, the horse still towered above the rest of his admittedly small herd of horses. Where did this animal come from? Getting close to his horses could sometimes be difficult when they were out in the field, but there was always a fail-proof method he could employ, and that was feeding time. He quickly went back to the stables and got a bale of horse food. He brought it to the edge of the field, and most of his animals already knew what time it was and slowly approached him. When Mark put the food in the designated trays, the rest of the horses also all approached. All except from the standout animal, the oversized horse with antlers. But when it was standing on its own, Mark could already see it a lot better and managed to make some interesting conclusions about the animal. His first thoughts that it was maybe an elk of some sort were quickly put in the trash. From everything he could see from the animal, he was fairly sure that it was a horse. A big one for sure. The problem was that no breed could grow antlers. Mark had never heard of or seen anything like this. He had no idea if it was safe to approach the unknown animal, but it was a risk he was willing to take to satisfy his curiosity. As the horses were feeding, he jumped over the fence and slowly but surely approached the horse with antlers. At first, the animal did not seem to notice him as it was calmly grazing. But the moment the horse spotted Mark, things quickly changed. The animal's behavior switched from calm to aggressive, and it turned its antlers towards Mark, who was immediately stopped in his tracks. With his heart pounding in his chest, Mark retreated swiftly, the antlered horse's eyes following him with an unsettling intensity. He half expected the creature to charge, but it simply stood there, majestic yet menacing, watching him as he stumbled back toward the safety of his fence. Mark took a moment to catch his breath. Leaning heavily against the wooden fence, the surreal encounter had shaken him, but he couldn't let fear paralyze him. He knew he needed to resolve this bizarre situation, not just for his safety but for the welfare of his entire herd. As he watched the horse from a distance, Mark realized he needed help. This was beyond anything he'd encountered. He considered reaching out to his neighbors, people who understood the land and the nature of livestock, but would they believe him about a horse with antlers? Determined, Mark pushed aside his doubts. This was no time for hesitation. He made up his mind to approach his neighbors for assistance, knowing full well the challenge he faced in convincing them of the reality of this unusual creature. Mark approached his nearest neighbor, his voice steady as he explained the situation, describing the horse with its towering frame and unusual antlers. He asked for help to safely contain the animal, hoping his neighbor would see the urgency in his eyes. Together, they discussed a strategy to safely capture the horse, Mark outlining his thoughts while his neighbor listened intently. The plan needed to be foolproof, for both their safety and the horses, requiring teamwork and a level of coordination they hadn't needed before. But skepticism crept into their voices as they struggled to envision a horse adorned with antlers, something out of a fairy tale or a myth. Mark could see the disbelief in their eyes, their expressions betraying their thoughts. Mark's request for help was met with hesitant glances and polite refusals, his neighbors uneasy about approaching an animal so unpredictable and unknown. Their excuses ranging from busy schedules to outright fear, leaving Mark to face the reality of handling the situation alone. Standing amidst his fields, Mark felt the weight of solitude pressing down on him. Determination set in his jaw. He knew he had to find another solution, one that didn't rely on the help of those who couldn't see the danger he faced. Resolute, Mark reached for his phone, dialing the number of a local veterinarian known for dealing with large animals. His voice was steady as he explained the situation, hoping that professional expertise could provide the answers he so desperately needed. Over the phone, Mark described the scene in vivid detail: the towering horse, its unusual antlers, and its unpredictable behavior. He emphasized his concern for the safety of both the animal and his herd, hoping the vet would understand the urgency of the situation. The vet listened intently, her voice laced with professional concern as she pondered the risks involved. She expressed caution about approaching an animal so unusual, warning Mark of the potential dangers they could face in attempting to handle it. The vet proposed a plan using non-traditional methods, focusing on the safe capture of the horse without causing it harm. Her ideas were innovative and untested, but they sparked a glimmer of hope in Mark's anxious heart. Mark busied himself preparing the farm for the vet's arrival, checking and double-checking every fence and gate. He ensured that all safety measures were in place, creating an environment as controlled and secure as possible for the challenging task ahead. The vet's truck rolled onto Mark's farm, a beacon of hope amidst his growing concern. She stepped out, her eyes immediately seeking the horse in question, ready to evaluate the situation with a professional eye and offer her expertise. With careful steps, the vet approached the field, her eyes locked on the horse with Antlers. She observed its behavior, its posture, and its interaction with the environment, her mind calculating the safest approach to handle such an unprecedented situation. Mark joined the vet by the fence, discussing the pros and cons of using sedation. They pondered the delicate balance between ensuring the safety of all involved and the unknown health risks that sedation might pose to such an unusual animal. The vet expressed her reservations about sedating the horse, pointing out the complexities due to its unfamiliar anatomy and behavior. After a moment of contemplation, the vet suggested a novel approach. She proposed using a large horse trailer, a method that could allow them to capture the animal without direct confrontation or the uncertainty of sedation. Mark, the vet, and a handful of assistants she had brought along began their preparations. They discussed roles and responsibilities, each person understanding the importance of their part in this carefully orchestrated plan. Together, they positioned the horse trailer at a strategic point near the field. The placement was key. It needed to be close enough to be effective, but far enough to not startle the horse immediately. In a huddle, the team mapped out their strategy. They would use controlled movements and noise to gently steer the horse towards the trailer. The plan required precision and patience, a delicate dance of human will against animal instinct. The operation commenced under a blanket of tension. Each team member took their position, using flags, sounds, and strategic movements to guide the horse. The horse, confused and startled, resisted their efforts, darting away from the trailer instead of towards it. The team regrouped, realizing the challenge was greater than anticipated. They realized that subtlety and patience were key, shifting their tactics to a more gentle persuasion, hoping to align with the horse's natural instincts rather than startling it. In a bold move, they decided to use guns loaded with blanks, creating loud noises to startle the horse in the direction of the trailer. The sound echoed across the field, a startling but necessary measure to drive the horse forward. The loud noises startled the horse, nudging it hesitantly in the direction they wanted. Slowly, step by step, the horse began to move towards the trailer, its instincts kicking in to resist the direction it was being herded. The team faced moments of frustration as the horse veered off course, requiring constant adjustment and perseverance. After several tense attempts, the horse began to move steadily closer to the trailer. A sense of cautious optimism spread among the team as they witnessed their plan coming together. Once enclosed within the trailer, the horse's agitation surged. It paced restlessly, its hooves thundering against the metal floor, a stark reminder of the wildness they were attempting to contain. The team moved with calm efficiency, using straps and barriers to ensure the horse's safety. Their priority was clear: to prevent the horse from injuring itself or others during the transport, a task that required both gentleness and firmness. Mark oversaw the final preparations, double-checking every latch and strap. The air was tense with apprehension as they readied themselves for the journey to the vet clinic. The journey to the clinic was a test of patience and endurance. The horse's erratic movements made the drive difficult, with sudden shifts and kicks echoing through the trailer, each one sending a wave of concern through Mark. Amidst the turbulent ride, Mark and the vet exchanged theories over the phone. They pondered the horse's origins and the nature of its antlers. Were they a bizarre mutation, a sign of a new breed, or something more sinister? Finally, they arrived at the vet's clinic, the journey's end bringing a mix of relief and new anxiety. The horse, still fraught with nervous energy, seemed unaware of the efforts made for its well-being. At the clinic, the horse's behavior remained a puzzle, unpredictable and erratic. It reacted to every touch and sound, its eyes wide with a mix of fear and confusion, reminding everyone of the wildness that still lurked within. In the clinic, a quiet vigil began as the team waited for the horse to exhaust its fear and agitation, understanding that time and space were crucial allies in calming the unsettled creature. With vigilant eyes, the team monitored the horse, looking for any signs of change in its behavior or health. Each snort, each shift in movement was noted. In a quiet corner of the clinic, Mark and the vet discussed their next course of action. They weighed their options, considering the safety and well-being of the horse as they pondered how to address its unique condition. A theory emerged among the team: could the antlers be a man-made addition, an artificial attachment? The possibility sparked a mix of disbelief and concern as they considered the implications of such an act. The team also entertained other possibilities. Could this be a case of rare genetic mutation, or perhaps an unusual crossbreed? The mystery of the horse's antlers invited a range of speculations, each as intriguing as it was perplexing. The team's observation became a practice in patience. They watched and waited, understanding that the horse's trust and calmness would not be won quickly or easily, but were essential for what lay ahead. As hours passed, the tension in the clinic grew. The horse showed no sign of calming down. The vet made a decisive call to administer a mild tranquilizer. This decision, aimed at ensuring a safer examination for both the horse and the team, was met with a somber sense of necessity. The vet administered the tranquilizer, her movements deliberate and gentle. The team standing by in silent support as the medication took effect. As the tranquilizer soothed the horse into a calm state, the vet began a comprehensive examination, exploring the mysterious antlers with a mix of professionalism and curiosity. Mark watched from a distance, his heart caught between hope and apprehension. He waited for any word from the vet, eager to learn the truth behind the horse's bizarre appearance and the mysterious antlers. The vet's keen eyes identified peculiarities that hinted at an unexpected truth. Her findings were meticulous, each one adding a piece to the puzzle of the horse's unique condition. In a moment of revelation, the vet confirmed that the antlers were not a natural part of the horse. They had been artificially attached, a fact that sent a wave of shock through everyone present. Mark and the vet stood in disbelief, processing the disturbing truth. The idea that someone had deliberately altered the horse in such a manner was both shocking and deeply unsettling. As the vet continued her examination, she discovered a clue that shed light on the horse's past. Embedded in the horse's skin, near the base of the antlers, was a mark, leading to a shady dealer known for unethical practices in the animal trade. This dealer had surgically attached the antlers, attempting to pass the horse off as a rare species. With a newfound determination, Mark and the vet delved into the horse's past. Their investigation combined online research, inquiries, and the clue found on the horse, piecing together a trail that led to the cruel origins of its unnatural appendages. Their diligent efforts bore fruit when authorities apprehended the dealer responsible for the horse's plight. The arrest marked a significant victory against animal cruelty, closing a chapter in the horse's life marred by exploitation and suffering. In a delicate procedure, the vet skillfully removed the antlers. The team breathed a collective sigh of relief upon finding that, aside from the unnatural additions, the horse was in good health, its spirit unbroken by its ordeal. Moved by the horse's resilience, Mark made a heartfelt decision to provide it with a permanent home. In the following days, the horse began its journey of healing and adaptation. Surrounded by the tranquil fields and Mark's compassionate care, it slowly started to show signs of recovery, both physically and emotionally. Inspired by his experience, Mark became an advocate for animal welfare. He shared the story of the horse far and wide, raising awareness about animal cruelty and the importance of empathy and responsible care in animal ownership. The story culminated in a serene tableau of Mark and the horse, now living in peaceful coexistence. The horse, free from the chains of its past, grazed contentedly in the fields, its life a testament to resilience, recovery, and the transformative power of compassion. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notifications bell so you never miss amazing tales like this one.